Now, first I want to clarify. According to the announcement, Arunma Oteh, former DG or current DG who's on leave now, she's been sent on compulsory leave. But the sort of whispers in the financial sector seem to be that once she's gone for leave, the door is going to be closed right behind her, and she's actually been sacked. So, what is your take on these allegations?
That's the unofficial interpretation of what has happened. The reality is that in a governance environment, the board looks at things. Hopefully, if they did it judiciously, then they ask her to go on leave to give unfettered access to whoever is carrying out the investigation. And when the investigation is finished, whoever is investigated actually has an opportunity to defend him or herself if there are any allegations, if there are any findings, and then that process, the entire process, will determine the outcome. But, this is what it should be. But right now, the information is still sketchy. We do not know what has happened. But it's curious that an outgoing board is actually making such far-reaching decisions 3 days before the expiration of their term.
Now, this move did raise a lot of eyebrows, and certainly it seems like the financial sector here in Nigeria did not expect it. Did this come as a surprise to you as well?
It's a surprise to anybody because it's
even with the probe,
for investors
the House of Reps probe.
Yes, investors will be concerned as to what kind of stability or what kind of signals are we sending. But again, the information before the board is the information they have, and they would. Hopefully they made their decisions. They made their decision based on information which I hope, and one can only hope that it is concrete, and then we go ahead and see exactly what it is. Any discussion of a matter which is before the board and subject of investigation can only be speculative. However, the timing is curious. There's a board that has 3 days more of its term, and they take such far-reaching decisions based on whatever you've just talked about. It's not clear as to what it is about.
Now, there's also reports that the current board that initiated this move will actually be out of office in a couple of days.
Yes.
So what is going to happen with the whole process? And of course, how is the new board sort of going to take this on?
No, there's an acting DG who will hold the fort. And after the investigations are complete, the new board and the supervising ministry will look into all of these things. But the signal it sends to the market, especially international investors, at a time when, especially if the person who is being asked to go on compulsory leave is a major accuser of corrupt practices and a major agent of reform, then one has to be, it sends out signals that what is happening here. Is this a pro-reform or anti-reform move, or what's this all about?
What about the investigation, Mr. Rewane? At what stage is it at right now? They said they're looking into some of the initiatives which she launched when she was inside office. So, what stage is the investigation at right now?
No,
Any
the board,
discovery?
No, one doesn't know. And what I'm saying, the facts are before the board. But typically in public life in Nigeria, there'll be allegations, but the timing of these things, right after the accusations she made at the House of Reps probe, leads one to speculate, and you can only speculate that there could be a connection between the accusation and what we are seeing today. We do not know. But it will be important. But the entire world is watching, and the process has to be transparent.
Now, one thing I know you keep mentioning is the timing.
Yes.
And of course, right now our markets are sort of volatile. So what do you think this move now is going to have? How will it impact investor confidence? Because we're at a point where investor confidence in our markets it's just not great.
It's not great, but in the last 2 days, for some odd reason, the market has actually appreciated and closed on a positive note. But typically in any market, once there's uncertainty, because investors always have higher level of risk aversion. Okay, so it will paralyze their confidence, to eat into their motivation, and can actually undermine the growth of the market. But again, events always happen, and but the reality is that this is not what this market needs at this time.
Well, we know that Arunma, the DJ Arunma Oteh, she pushed a lot of initiatives towards removing corruption from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. What is going to happen now that we've seen her sort of out of seat? Do you feel like we're going to lose some of these gains that we had seen while she was in seat?
That is a risk, but see, the markets are beyond any individual or any personality. The reality is that I keep on talking about the timing. If she was championing the cause of anti-corruption cause and you get rid of her, then there's a risk that you also could be accused of being part of, undermining the fight against corruption. So it will be very interesting to see how this whole thing unfolds. But the timing is not good for the market and for the confidence of investors.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bismarck Rewane, CEO of Financial Derivatives.